Hey, all you holistic hipsters out there, it's that time. So grab your chalice of choice and sit back and sip along with us. We would love to welcome you to the Tea Podcast, where we spill the tea on all things holistic in the pet grooming industry. Let me introduce you to our hostesses with the mostesses.
She is the socialite of skin and coat care, Ms. Michelle Knowles.
And the queen bee of all things oily, Ms. Melissa Conti-Diener. Brought to you by theoilygroomer.com. Are you searching for a new and more mindful way of grooming? Interested in understanding how to grow your grooming business with a more holistic and organic approach? Please contact Melissa Conti-Diener at theoilygroomer.com so that you can set up a meeting and bring balance and prosperity to your life. And allthingspaw.com. Intermediate and advanced courses in pet esthetician work, fear recovery, animal handling, and more. Get your learn on with All Things Paw. Also, classes with Melissa, online and self-guided, intuitive energy work, transitional therapy, and compassionate touchpoint therapy, and more. And the Herbal Paw Pet Apothecary, tailored for the individual pet, phone consultations, history gathering, and the home of the Herbal First Aid Kit.
Now, let's get this tea party started.
Alrighty then.
Hello.
Spooky day. Hello.
Rainer. Look at you. I think you're, according to our topic, I think your costume is very apropos.
Well, thank you. The only thing is, literally, this is supposed to be closed so that it can hold the herbs, but it's just a alligator.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's a what do they call that? Rendering.
Spices on the half shell. Woo-hoo.
There you go. It's creepy as all heck.
Yeah. So this is our Halloween edition.
Yes.
And what I want to know really is what's in your cup.
I actually have a warming blend that is extremely good for cold and flu season, and it actually comes along with can be used to make a tea rinse for your hair and scalp as well. So it has rosemary, cinnamon, cardamom, clove, ginger, and lemon. So it is a beautiful, beautiful blend. And I put a few drops of the caramel flavoring in it because then it just makes it almost like a caramel spice latte.
Creamy. Right, yeah.
And it's in my all-time favorite chocolate, since this is a season of chocolatey candy goodness. My all-time favorite candy of all is a lovely peanut butter wrapped in chocolate. This was a gift from my husband when I was at Hershey with you on my 50th birthday. Can you believe it's going to be 7 years that happened? No. So I've confiscated this cup from him today. Oh,
well.
So he's sharing willingly, though.
Deservedly so.
And what's in that's some deliciousness. What is in your cup there, Tweety Bird?
So, Aaron Shank for the win again. Look at this.
Aaron, we love you.
Look at my little cauldron. Look at it.
Yes.
So I have traditional pumpkin spice, which is cinnamon, ginger, cloves, and nutmeg.
Nice.
That is what I have. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today.
Yeah.
Melissa's going to give us the lowdown, but this is how I have to drink now.
Have some. Drink up, witches.
Right? I suppose you're wondering what our topic is.
Yes, please. Dazzle
Oh.
us with your technological wizardry.
Bam.
Double, toil and trouble. Let's share recipes. My favorite thing.
It's all about recipes. Here, this balances. Oh, there
Balance
you go.
it.
Look at that.
That's
right.
So before we even start, explain what that meant, because that ties into what we're actually talking about today.
Yes.
Mask. So explain it for those that are not so aware of that is an actual reproduction of what they wore in.
Oh, this.
response.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
This is a facsimile of a plague doctor's mask. The doctors believed, and like I said, the bottom would be closed and your whole mouth and everything would be covered. And then they stuffed the end with herbs. And literally, it was spices. It was pumpkin spices. And we will get into that here in a moment. But they thought that those spices would ward off infection. So when they breathed in through the herbs, that would give them some immunity to the plagues that they were treating. So double, toil and trouble is an actual.
You were sick and you would see the doctor come in with that on, and you truly thought you had descended into the bowels of hell. Yes. I am sure of it.
Because they were really spooky. Like, this is a modern plastic one. Right. The real ones were real long and they just looked hideous.
And they were leather.
Yes. And, can you imagine it?
No, I can't, because talk about scary. That's got to be unbelievably frightening.
That's insane.
Yeah. It really is. Thank God we've come a long way, baby, from those.
So interestingly enough, I've had this yelled at me from so many clinic managers, I can't even tell you. Double, toil and trouble is actually a poem that the witches were chanting in Macbeth. So it's from a Shakespeare play, but it was the witches. What is it? Something cauldron bubble. Yeah. Like they were like making a potion, and that's what I'm known for. So therefore, I am the plague doctor. 9 times out of 10, that's what I am if I dress up on Halloween.
Really?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about we're going to talk about herbs and spices because we're the tea. Dang it.
Well, I think that we should. It's from Macbeth. The witches in Macbeth are, that's what they're saying, to basically tell him he better watch out, that he's in big trouble for killing everyone on his way to the crown. And the witches knew it, and they wouldn't stand for it, and they would not sit still for it. And that is part of their speech to him. It's, of course, Shakespeare, so it was in the form of a soliloquy. So, and
we all know what happened to him. So
yes, exactly.
If you mess around, you go and get messed around. Is what's going to happen.
Exactly.
That's a Fafo moment if I have ever seen one.
Yes.
All right. So, Melissa.
Yes.
Lead us in, because we were talking and we were studying a little bit about where historically pumpkin spice comes from. And you know what? I was floored because she came up with some stuff that neither of us really kind of knew. We knew, but we didn't know. We didn't really know.
Excited. I was very surprised and excited when I started digging around, because usually we think pumpkin spice and pumpkin spice season is let in by the what some of us call the basic bitch category, with her with her pumpkin spice latte and her Ugg boots and her flannel shirt, and just the general uniform of the basic suburban woman. And I don't mean that in a negative sense at all, but it is a fashion choice, and the pumpkin spice is part of it. But actually it has much more nefarious beginnings.
Do tell, Melissa. I
Yes.
am all ears.
And you know I'm all for nefarious. So.
Yes. Yes. This is
So,
crazy. This is a crazy story, but yeah, go ahead.
yes, it actually goes back to before there was ever pumpkin spice. In the 15th century, it started out as the thieves' oil. Now, there is a popular essential oil company that has products with the word thieves. However, they were not the originators. In the 15th century, it was created during the Black Plague when they wore the masks like Michelle has on by the French thieves. So that blend of these specific herbs, and I will give you those in a minute, came from the mixing of these specific herbs and was invented to be an antiseptic, an antibacterial, an antimicrobial. And before they even knew it, it had antiviral properties as well. So it is thought that the original oil was created to protect these thieves from getting sick while they stole goods from the plague victims. Primarily, if you're a victim of the plague, you're dead. So,
or very weak.
Yes, or very weak and
really
unable unable to fight. So the thieves from the story didn't start out as thieves, but as spice traders and merchants from India and Europe who traded cloves and cinnamon. Those were the two main ones. However, when the Black Plague began ravaging the population, these merchants needed a way to make a living. So in their desperation, they began to steal what they could from the dead to keep themselves financially afloat, basically. The bodies they stole from were still highly contagious, so the thieves needed some sort of protection. With their vast knowledge and skill with herbs and spices, they were able to invent this thieves' oil for protection. Eventually, the King of France found out. He was none too happy, and he had them caught straight away. When they were brought before His Majesty, they were given a choice. Either share their information, like tell us what the secret is, or we're going to burn you at the stake for witchcraft. Sounds about right for the 15th century. So naturally, they told the secret, and the thieves' oil recipe began to spread and morph and eventually became one of the most popular blends in history today. And that is where the basis of our pumpkin spice comes from. So the thieves' oil consists of clove, rosemary, eucalyptus, cinnamon, and lemon. And because they also were dealing in cinnamon and cloves and cardamom, it would be a variation of what the pumpkin spice is today. Mm-hmm. So fast forward a little bit.
Yeah, give them the lowdown about how it even got here. How did it even get here?
So the actual mixture of pumpkin spices is usually cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cloves or allspice. And then you can have rosemary. There's a lot of variations within it. But basically these spices came from Southeast Asia. They were called the Spice Islands, right? Or the Macau Islands. Mm-hmm. They would also get things like mace and the nutmeg would come from the nutmeg trees, ginger. So these are more spices that got incorporated into that original thieves recipe, right? Mm-hmm. Because they are all antibacterial, they're antimicrobial, they're anti-infectious disease. We know now that they work in that sense. So they were trading these along the spice routes. They became common within the European aristocratic, wealthy society, pretty much.
The elite set.
Right.
Because they
So
were the only ones that could afford these spices. They're
exactly.
very expensive.
Right. And so now people that now are leaving England and are coming over into the Americas have taken these spices and herbs with them because it is now a part of they used these during the winter months. They had a dual purpose as a way to spice cakes and cookies for throughout the winter months, because they were also used as a way to ward off things and protect them from plagues, from illness. And they would.
So what's interesting too, though, and I know you're just coming up on it, is that it wasn't pumpkin spice yet.
No. They didn't know what pumpkin was yet.
Right. They just used the spice in the fall because that's when everybody started getting colds and whatnot.
Right.
And this, that, and the other. So it became ubiquitous with the fall weather.
Absolutely.
Carry on.
And so when they ventured across the pond from jolly old England over here to the Americas, our native people introduced them to native growing squashes, pumpkin being one of them. When they started to utilize them and use them as food, they started to add those spices to it. Number one, for the medicinal content. Number two, because they just blend so well with the taste of these. Look at butternut squash. You always add a little pinch of cinnamon in there and maybe a little ginger or cardamom. It's the same thing. And then they decided that they were going to actually make pies from these. So we have sweet potato pies, we have pumpkin pies, and they're all
pies.
Yep.
All the things, just all the pies.
And they were spiced with this bouquet
blend,
right, of spices. And so they took these things to the New World and introduced them, and they slowly became a common part of our food history. And we always associate them with the holidays. And then we took it even further to be something that we feel is, and they are all very warming, blood warming, body warming spices. So then to add them to things like teas and coffees, and it just goes right along with that cold weather.
And weren't they also originally thought to ward off evil spirits, as well as, which they thought were making the infections?
Right.
So it was kind of one and the same, So basically it was like a prayer every time you would eat, every time you would drink, to ward off evil from your family and keep everybody healthy, because the winters were hard at that time.
And so they had to actually, when they brought them here, then they cultivated them here. And then they were able to, as time went on, they were able to mass produce them along with things like chocolate and other spices and flavors. And they eventually moved into the generation of plantation propagation, where they use slave labor to produce a lot of the foods and spices. And so they proliferated even more because they were able to produce it so inexpensively that it was no longer left to the wealthy to have those things. And then it slowly just kind of crept into our food culture that those were the spices of the fall season.
And if you think about it, traditionally, fall is when we harvest all the crops. That's when everything comes in and we put up food for storage. We're making those pies. We're having harvest day celebrations and things like that. So it has just come from such humble origins into warding off infection into an everyday order my latte pumpkin spice at Starbucks. What I want to blend in, Melissa, thank you for researching that. That was amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was so.
Who knew? I didn't know. I mean, I knew some of it, but I didn't know
I had no idea all that
in our history like that. So I'm going to take you through cinnamon, ginger, clove, and nutmeg. Here, I'll put my doctor's hat on, so I'll be more official.
Oh
More
my
official.
kitty cat
Okay,
Harris.
look what happens though. It's on my microphone.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, here we go. All right, so nutmeg. And I think that it's interesting that there is a common thread that runs through pumpkin spice from a scientific medicinal point of view.
Right.
So I'm going to just tell you about this. Nutmeg medicinally relieves pain, helps with insomnia and digestion, brain health, bad breath, skin, and blood pressure. Now I want you to really look at the thread that runs all through these. So blood pressure, right? Bad breath usually is because your teeth are bad. Cinnamon reduces clotting, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and boosts heart health.
Yeah. It's also a blood sugar stabilizer.
Yes.
As a diabetic, they tell you to take cinnamon or eat
Yep.
cinnamon. And so it's very good for your blood.
Right. So, and then we have ginger. It's for inflammation, blood pressure, weight loss, nausea, arthritis, and pain. And then we have clove that has traditionally been used with toothaches, dental pain, plaque buildup, hangovers, and indigestion. All of the thread that's running through all pumpkin spices is heart health, heart and artery health. Even the clove, which helps with toothaches,
Right.
when you have bacteria on your teeth, you're swallowing that, and that's really a great contributor to heart health or heart disease, if you will. So, I mean, pumpkin spice is actually medicinally appropriate for the fall when we are starting to have these issues that might affect your heart. Also, we're running around scaring everybody, thinking that's funny. We want the strongest heart possible so we can get through it, right? So I thought that was really interesting that all those spices were not only tasty, flavorful, and warded off spirits and infection, but they also, in your regular foods, could absolutely boost your heart health and a bunch of other things too. I thought it was so neat.
Well, they also would add citrus to it. And remember, they were getting a lot of this stuff through the spice and the trade routes. And so while citrus wasn't maybe readily available in some of the places like, say, New England or that kind, they were getting them dried. And they were getting these things, and then they would do mulled ciders and mulled with those same exact things: allspice, mace, clove, anise, ginger, all those things. And they would mull them with the dried citrus, with apples, which were very prolific in the northern states.
Yeah, mulled cider. I mean, heaven's sake! I mean, that is a fall thing, everybody waits for that. So that's incredible.
Because it is restorative and it's regenerative and it
healthy
is,
for you.
And it's something that started out to be healthy.
Right.
And has become just a flavor for us at this point. We don't think of it as medicinal. But it really, truly is.
Yeah. And if you can mix your own blend and make a tea from it, you'll get most of the medicinal benefits. However, if you have just like a drink that has flavoring, like pumpkin spice flavoring in it, you're not really getting a whole lot of the medicinal properties. So I advise you to make from scratch your own blend of pumpkin spice for your fall season.
Get your mortar and pestle out, ladies and gentlemen, and get grinding. There you go.
Do it.
I should have grabbed mine. I didn't, but mine weighs 1,000,000 pounds, and it's.
I know that's my little one. That's my tiny.
Yeah, it's like super big, and it's made out of black obsidian, so it weighs a ton. But it works.
I want one big enough to grind corn in. That's my next one.
I don't know if I could grind corn. Mine's
big food, salt. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do. That's what I do my salts with and everything. But get your mortar and pestle out and start grinding up your stuff. Not only is it better for you, but the actual physical act of creating these things is good for our mind and body as well, because we are putting energy into that instead of just opening up a packet.
Right. You're putting your intention,
Yep,
your energy and intention into the
into
grinding
that.
of the medicine, the herbal medicine that you
Right.
will then ingest. Um, I can't stress that enough. When you're using recipes on dogs or whatever, it's good to know what those skin processes look like. And it's good to know what those ingredients do to the actual skin cells themselves,
Right.
because you can actually visualize and use your intention to help that process happen quicker, faster, deeper, more wonderful, and you get better results from intention, just from intention.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Her intention was to get me to pick her up.
Worked. Magic. So what recipes can we share other
Oh
than
well,
just pumpkin spice?
well, I think it's important. I mean, we'll do lots of different kinds of recipes, but what I wanted to share today is fall. As soon as fall kicks in, which yesterday was really officially first day, the first day of October. And
That's
then,
when we're filming this on the 2nd.
right, we're
We'll
filming
see
it
this
on the
on
first day,
the 28th.
on the 20th.
I
Um,
believe so.
but we tend to lose ourselves in these fall months. They tend to be extremely busy, and then they lean us into getting ready for all the winter months, which we are still extremely busy because there's plenty of holidays in the winter months that take us all the way through to February. And we do not take good care of ourselves. So the ones that I'm going to share are going to be about good self-care, and they can be used in conjunction, of course. Everything I do is not only for the human, but can be used on an animal, a pet as well. You I'm not giving anything for the kitty cats because we know that they are extremely sensitive, and a lot of these spices are very phenol heavy,
Right.
because that's what makes them antiviral. That's what makes them so curative. And our feline friends have a very hard time with heavy phenol content. So we will leave the kitties out for this, but these are safe for dog to use on dogs as well as humans. But I'm representing with my ears and my glasses today, although they really can't. You can use things like vanilla on them. You can use chamomile and mix, vanilla. You can use some of the lighter spices like no citrus. You can use basil, but you have to use it in such small amounts with felines. So it just is very difficult to take a full on, like what we're doing, pumpkin spice, and use that on a feline. So everything I'm going to give you guys
It's a very
today,
powerful combination.
yes,
That's a very powerful medicinal combination.
yeah, and it's just very phenol heavy, and it just will it's too much for their sensitive systems. But your pup can be a pumpkin spice pup.
Yeah, I think at Spa La Pa they're doing pumpkin clay masks, pumpkin and clay masks.
So we were talking about this off camera, Michelle and I. Just the pumpkin itself, which is in the is in the squash family. It is a squash. Is just loaded with antioxidants and skin feeding, moisturizing components. So not only is it wonderful and fibrous when we actually eat it to clean us and help scrub out the gut biome, but if we actually use it directly on our skin, it has a lot of benefits as well, especially if you mix
nutritious,
like honey, which is another humectant, sugar, like brown sugars, which I have some recipes that you can make a nice, beautiful, fragrant sugar scrub that will shine and really give you the fall glow. What do you have to share, Michelle?
Well, I would just like to share that everything that is herbal can be made into a tea. And a lot of people don't know or have never been told or never thought about it. that you could actually take that tea and put it in a diffuser instead of using something as concentrated as an essential oil,
Right.
which in a lot of cases, that might be something that you want. You want that 1-2 punch that you need right then. However, if you just want something gentle that you breathe in and get all the benefits, you could absolutely make a pumpkin spice tea and then put just the gentle tea inside the diffuser, and that's going to waft around. That's probably a lot safer for pets as well, and you still
Right.
have that smell. It's just not super concentrated. And a lot of people are really getting into herbals. Once I started getting into it, you notice that everybody else starts getting into it as well. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's a wonderful addition to the medicine closet, the medicine chest.
Yes.
And I want to discuss two different herbs that do the same thing. We're going to talk about plantain and we're going to talk about comfrey. Those are really important. Those, if you want to heal very quickly from something topically on the skin, those are the two main ones that you want. Although I do a lot of compounding. I will mix herbs together to get the right kind of effect that I'm looking for. However, plantain will heal something so quickly that you cannot use it. Not plantain, comfrey is so powerful that you can't use it on puncture wounds. If you use it on a puncture wound, it will heal over too quickly and it might leave some infection underneath that it's going to fester. So instead of using comfrey, you use plantain or even mullein, which is a good substitute. Those are better topically for a puncture wound, but if it is just an abrasion.
Can I just say that I absolutely love mullein? I love the actual herb itself. I think it's a beautiful plant. I'm going to find, because most people don't know what mullein is.
Right.
And I'm going to see if I can find a picture of it.
And it's literally like a weed that you've seen growing in the yard.
Yes.
Literally.
And it really is an amazing plant that we bypass so much.
Mm-hmm. You can probably find plantain and comfrey also in the cracks in the sidewalk, in the back field that's been let go. They're all around us. The gifts of herbs are all around us. We just have to open our eyes to see. So yeah, comfrey is a good healing herb, and also plantain is a really good healing herb. And so is mullein. They're all in that same family. Another one also to cool or calm tissue is marshmallow.
Oh, that's another really
the mallow plant is amazing because it has that beautiful
Here's mullein. Here's what it looks like.
What do you call it, Melissa?
What?
The goo. It produces a goo, like a snot, when you make it.
Oh yeah, it's
it's thick and drippy and weird.
Yeah, I'm going to just say I can't think of what it's called, but it's like an ectoplasm.
Yeah,
it's a plasmic.
Yeah,
like,
it's just kind of slimy.
Right.
It's slimy
inside. This is the picture of mullein. I'm doing a quick screen share. So do you see these big, giant, and they're furry?
Mm-hmm.
And just okay, I think it stopped sharing. Just a little side note with mullein as well. And it will grow stalks too. It will grow a large stalk out of it. But if you're ever camping and you come across mullein, it has huge, soft, really like almost like a down on the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a camper. I've never been camping in my entire life.
He's not a camper.
I'm just not. I've never had anybody take me camping. I've never been camping. So
nor would you want to take her camping.
So I don't know. I'm a little high maintenance for out in the woods camping. But I have been told by friends that I know that camp that it is an amazing toilet paper.
She had that one friend at band camp that once told her that the mullein would be a good toilet paper.
Yeah.
Also plantain, although it doesn't.
And plantain, right. But
plantain and comfrey. Yeah. Show what comfrey looks like.
Comfrey?
Find us a comfrey.
I'll find you a comfrey. Go
ahead. They get giant too. They grow giant.
Oh yeah. So does mullein get enormous.
Just so if you're walking out and about, that'll give you 2 or 3 different, let's say you cut yourself and you're out and about. You can snatch that up, chew it in your mouth a little bit, and spit it right on your wound.
Oh,
it's crazy. It's crazy. You do it just like that. And if you don't want to chew it, masticate it in your hand so that it gets all gooey and gross, and then put it on your wound.
I love to chew stuff and then spit it on my wound.
My favorite. My favorite, right? Right?
Hang on, I'll show you comfrey right now. Let's see. There it is. And it does get a little delicate purplish pink flower as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big bush of comfrey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just grows huge.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Now show us a plantain.
Okay, let me pull up plantain. And not, sometimes they call it plantain weed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me get a big picture of it here for you guys so you could see it.
And those of you just listening in, do a search on these so you see what they look like.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, you walk by them in your own backyard
Yep.
or your own alley. They are so useful. As long as you know what they look like and you can snatch them up. I mean, you have a virtual
can
first
forage.
aid kit right in your yard. Yeah, look at how
There you go.
I've got
So
one
you
of
can
those in my
also
yard right now.
collect these from the stalk. You can collect all those, or all seeds, and you can collect and dry those seeds, but you can also utilize the leaves themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So another really, really good herb to forage for. That I do like to do. I've never been actually camping, but I do go often with my husband, who loves to fish, and I can be slightly annoying because I don't stay still long. And fishing takes lots of patience and stillness and not chattering. Yeah, and I can't. I just don't do well like that. So I love to go and hike through the woods and forage and do.
But as long as she's moving, don't
Yes.
make her sit down anywhere.
Oh my God!
You'll
Don't
be in
make
trouble.
me sit still, please. I have an existential breakdown when I have to sit still for so long and fish are not all hanging from my line in 30 seconds.
It's true. You got things to do, right?
Yeah.
I think another combination too that's really important that get overlooked because we just think of them in a culinary sense is the parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme combination. That is so powerful.
That Simon Garfunkel sang about it.
Yeah, it's so powerful that it's been used in chicken soups for forever to make you feel better. They're medicinally, those fresh herbs are antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, antimicrobial. They do all, and they're very nourishing.
Yes.
So at the same time that they're killing bad bacteria, they're nourishing your cells also and giving them all that nutrient so they can get you well faster. So that's another combination that's crazy good.
It's that whole nature makes no mistakes. At least I don't think so. And so while it is doing the work to kill off whatever needs to be killed off, it's also rebuilding, and restoring what needs to be put back together again for full health.
Mm-hmm.
So they have, and I've said this forever, they have a purpose, and it's usually more than one. They work in a dual, and then they have such a willingness to work with other herbs that synergistically, when you put them together and make a blend, or what do you call it? A
formulation.
Yeah, formulation, or, that they just literally work off of each other. So I truly believe that those things were created for us and for the animal kingdom.
I believe that completely. They are our first aid kit.
Yeah.
They are meant, let medicine be thy food and thy food be thy medicine.
Yeah.
It's more true now than ever that I get more and more into herbology and just choosing healthier decisions, making healthier decisions for myself, and getting into all that stuff. It's pretty amazing. And I think it's also amazing to know that an antibiotic cream has one antibiotic in it.
Yes.
And if it's not synthesized, even if it is synthesized, it's synthesized from a plant. Okay, that's where all the original pharmaceuticals came from,
Right.
were
Came from.
actual plants. But you have that one antibiotic cream that won't work, pick something else, pick something stronger, blah, blah, blah. However, if you replace the single antibiotic cream with a plant like calendula and make a tea or an oil or something like that, that can actually say so. It will absolutely support infection and take it away, just like those chronic ears. Calendula, baby, with a couple of other synergistic herbs with it, will just knock that out of the park. I've seen it happen with my eyeballs. It's unbelievable how good herbs work. And I'm now in a mode where I am having to convince a lot of people that pharmacology isn't the end all be all. Now, they do have some sophisticated pharmaceuticals. I will not deny that. Science and chemistry have come so far in our understanding of how to mesh things together. However, some things you just need to go back to basics. Sometimes it just takes an herb and not $40,000 worth of, a chemical.
Right.
That's been condensed down into a drop, which also has a billion other side effects. So I
Well,
think that's the appeal of
I think it's
herbology.
also that we have to understand that healing takes time. Healing is not instantaneous.
Mhm.
And because we are a instant
That's a great point.
gratification nation, we need to make sure that we understand the fact that just because you're applying this, it doesn't mean that it's going to work just like you take a pill and in less than 24 hours you're healed from whatever was bothering you.
Mhm.
You have to understand that your body works with those herbal whatever way you're presenting the herbs, whether it's a decoction, whether it's a poultice, whether it's any of the many different ways. You're taking it orally, you put it in a salve. Your state of mind, your diet, what you're eating, all those things are factoring in to the ability of those herbs to work. The same as a medication that you're actually taking. It may mask symptoms, but it's not trying to get to the root of whatever is creating that disease, So, because I've had people say, I've made things, like the sinus balm that I make, or some of the hair balms for regrowth or for psoriasis or eczema or any of those things. And then they're like, oh, well, it doesn't work right away. If I spray it with this stuff, the medicine makes it numb and I don't feel it. Well, that's an antihistamine. And that's all it's doing, is just blocking it. What I'm telling you to do is put something on that's going to help at the root of what's going on. And I'm telling you, what's your diet? Primarily dairy? Well, then you need to stay away from dairy, because that's how it's manifesting inside of your body. Or too much caffeine, or too much stress, or
and a lot of skin issues are because your liver isn't detoxing properly.
Right.
Or your
it's butt biome, or your butt, the whole biome of your gut is just trash from taking so many antibiotics over the years.
Right. Yeah, it's akin to, how divers, when they go very deeply, they have to come up very slowly, so they don't get the bends. Herbs work like that. They work very gently. They go in, they work very gently and go to the places they need to go to, but it's a gentle action. In Western medicine, we're used to taking a pill, and then whatever symptom we took the pill for goes away.
Right.
If temporarily, if not permanently, but temporarily at least, like a headache or whatever. Herbs don't do that. They don't directly attack the thing and then you don't have the pain. What they do is they support the body in such a way that the body starts processing correctly and takes care of the issue.
Right.
So really you're just supporting the body while the body relearns how to bring itself back to homeostasis. That's really what it's after. And I really like that concept. You're not going to, like when you bathe a dog in medicated shampoo, you're not going to just, okay, we washed him, so this 10
Right.
years of neglect and bacteria and crust is going to be just going to flake off. It's going to be great. No. Not after 10 years of neglect. One bath is not going to fix anything. However, if over a period of time we regularly cleanse the skin and then give it the minerals and herbs that it needs to find that homeostasis, we're helping teach the body to relearn how to do those processes correctly so that it's healthy.
Right.
That is what herbal support basically is.
And that's
Although
why it's called that. It's
Yeah.
called support because it's supporting your immune system. It's not suppressing.
Right.
There's a big difference.
But there's also a reason we can't say anything but support because we're not doctors.
Right.
We can't use words like cure or fix or whatever.
Yeah. Heal.
Yeah.
I get real mad when you say heal.
Yeah, because I believe you heal yourself.
Right.
With the support of nutrition and herbs.
Right.
You support yourself. You do the healing. The dog does the healing. I can't heal the dog, but I can support those systems so that the dog learns how to do it, relearns how to do it again. So
Yeah.
I think that's
and
the important
I say the same thing when I do energy work. Is I'm not doing anything. I'm a vessel to be there to support their energy, either to lift it up or to change that vibration to a more healing vibration. But I'm not healing anything. I personally have zero power to do any of that. That is all, I'm just a vessel for that to come through me to tap into whatever you want to call it, life force energy.
And those of you who aren't familiar with sound and energy work, I think that's an interesting modality as well. So every single thing that you see that is in our material world that we see, feel, hear, smell, touch is a vibration. It comes together. A table comes together because it is on a certain wavelength that makes us perceive it as being solid. But really, everything's in motion. Everything's a vibration. And they are proving that time and time again through science and other modalities that sound healing absolutely does work. Hertz work does work. Has anybody seen like water come out of a faucet and then they direct energy at it and it becomes like a stair step? And then you've seen them put salt or sand on a big boom speaker and they make it do different things and then it does all these patterns. Guess what? Sound, when introduced to us who are 70 to 80% water, imagine what it does to our blood.
Yeah.
When we listen to those good frequencies or have those are exposed to good frequencies, as opposed to the frequencies that give us cancer, the frequencies that make us depressed or have unease or make us sick. Actually, I know from myself and from others that, especially back in the day, you'd listen to the radio, you could only listen to it for so long. And then some songs would make you feel literally sick. It's the vibration of that particular song.
Yeah.
That's affecting you in the way and making you nauseous. That's crazy. Sound and energy work are a thing. They're real. We operate in a world of energy and sound.
And when we get out of that vibrational sync with Mother Earth, that's why they say take your shoes off and just go outside. Yeah. And ground yourself and let yourself get that energy pull you back in. Like people will say things and they don't even understand what they're saying. Like, I'm just like, I feel like I'm out of my skin or I'm coming out of my skin today. Or I just feel like I'm scattered. I'm all over the place. I can't focus. I can't this, that. And it's like, it's because your energy is just everywhere and it shouldn't be like that.
You need to realign.
You feel low. I feel so low. I'm so down. That's your energetic system saying
that's your vibration. I'm too low. I feel bad.
Yeah,
You
I feel
literally
that.
can get whole tones now. There's a company
Yeah,
called Whole Tones and a bunch of other ones that do it too. But Whole Tones is for the purpose of making your body vibrate at that certain hertz. So if you feel yourself being depressed, you might get a hold of the Whole Tones. It's like a scale, and they
right.
have music. Or if you don't want whole tones, go with somebody else. It's just that frequency that you're after. Play
Many,
it loud. Play it
yeah,
loud. Let your body be vibrated with it, and I bet you feel better
yep.
after a
Many of
period
the
of time.
chants,
Hmm.
Gregorian chants,
Hmm.
the Buddhist monks chanting, a lot of the Hindu chants. Most of them are religious and spiritual in nature because they are trying to obtain a specific frequency to
Hmm.
open up those energetic channels.
Hmm.
And all you have to do is so simple. Just go on YouTube.
It's
You
true.
have the solfeggio
Hmm.
tones that you can listen to. Tesla's 369.
Hmm.
Um, I just rotate through different things depending on what I want, but I listen to them all the time. My kids know when they used to live at home, but my husband, like, he just at first he thought it was really strange when we were first together, but now he's cool with the fact that, like, I'm like, I think I'm going to listen to them chant about Ganesha today, or I'm going
Hmm.
to listen to them the Gregorian chants, or I'm going to put non-secular music on that
Hmm.
is just giving glory to God, or whatever it is. And those things are created to open up your energetic pathways. And that's all part of healing. Healing does not always have to be a physical thing that we chew up herbs and smack them, or use your
Hmm.
mortar and pestle. There
Hmm.
are a
Or
lot of
even take a pill. You
exact.
know, it's the mind, body, spirit connection that she's talking about. You have to look at the whole
Oh,
picture.
yep,
Yeah, if you have a headache, have you eaten? Have you drank water? Have you dealt with the
yep,
stress of the day? Do you have something coming up that you need to meditate on? All those things are your health, all of them,
yep.
not just taking an aspirin and moving on and doing the same thing. I think a lot of people are coming to grips with, the way we've been living is probably not the healthiest way to be. There
Right,
are other ways of being that are feel better, music that makes you feel better and makes you happy and uplifts you. Life is hard enough. I don't know that I'd want to soak myself in sadness
right,
over and over and over and over again. Then that's what you become. What you consume, you become, and that means what you listen to, what you taste and eat, what you see. If you see just tragedy over and over and over again, you need to pull back away from that and have some sunsets and some sand and some palm trees or something. You have to get out of that box.
yeah. And we are famous for disconnecting. We disconnect from one another. We go down the rabbit hole and scroll for hours and just lose time. And it's sad that we just are not allowing ourselves to reconnect.
Hmm.
And so we need to disconnect sometimes from social media, from our phones, from TikTok, from all the things that we distract ourselves from the problems in our lives.
Hmm.
I truly believe that most of life is suffering, and we have to find ways that we have to see the beauty through that.
Hmm.
So it's important for us to make sure that we have some self-care things and some things that we can do, especially us as we work with animals.
Yeah, they're the biggest healers on the planet.
Yes. And
Dogs
we
will
totally
heal
don't tap
you.
into that.
Yes.
Our brains are on math homework. What am I cooking for dinner? My kids are fighting. I have to get new tires. It's supposed to rain. My boss is a jerk. The other groomer next to me used the wrong blade. We preoccupy ourselves with all these things, and we literally have love and healing right in our hands,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
we don't tap into it.
Yeah, take your baby for a walk. In my
Yeah.
case, all I have to do is hold him in my arms and walk out to the backyard, and we just commune for a minute.
Yeah.
Literally, when I'm talking to my dog and she's talking to me, I forget every single problem that I have, every single worry, just seeing her beautiful little face look up at me with those huge eyes and be like, let's just be together for a minute. That is the most healing thing that you can do that's free and available to you right now, right this second. You don't have
Yep.
to go buy it in a capsule. You don't have to drink it. You don't need a prescription for it. Just commune with your dog. It's amazing. They will take away your pain.
Yep. And it's just so easy. But we need to do a little bit more self-care as well.
Definitely.
We just step away from that, and then we want a panacea to kind of smooth over all those rough edges, when we need those rough edges, because we need to change vibration, we need to change diet, we need to change all these things, and it just one thing at a time, just to set aside a little bit of time for some self-care. So give a recipe, Michelle, before we lose all our time here.
All right. Let's do a recipe of wellness.
So you do one and then I'll do one.
Yeah, let's find something that's really nice.
And while Michelle's looking, I am working diligently. I swear. I said I would have it done in August. It is now October and I'm still not done. But I am working diligently on a book of recipes that are for both human and animal, that are scrubs and bath bombs and salves and all that good stuff that you can use on yourself. And just keep an eye out for it. As soon as it is divinely possible, when they open that door for me and I am able to sit and finish everything, I just have so many things going on that I'm doing it in drips and drabs. So
it'll happen.
Yeah, it will. And I have faith in that, but I just, you know me, I want it done yesterday.
I want all the things done yesterday. So I'm going to share a recipe because we're going into the holiday seasons, and that is when we get freaking migraines, because, it's not easy what we do. It's not easy dealing with the clients. Everybody is all up. They're all happy, but they're stressed at the same time.
Right.
And sometimes that comes off as just hysteria. Yeah. So this is what I call a head healer. So this is for migraines. Or aches just after a long day and you're getting a headache or whatever. This is a really good tea for in the morning before you start, and also when you end your day. So you're going to do 2 parts lemon balm, 2 parts willow bark, 1 part rosemary, and 1 part valerian. Now the valerian can be switched out with St. John's wort. However, I can't use St. John's wort because I have high blood pressure, and that's not good for me. So valerian is the pick for me, but if it's interchangeable with St. John's wort in this particular recipe. So that'll heal your aches, your body aches, and your head. It's the head healer. So that's my go-to for the holiday season when I'm feeling low.
So I will give you a beautiful scrub. I love sugar scrubs. They are healing to our skin. You can do this in your shower for yourself, or you can also use this on your pet, or in your spa. We want to make sure that when we're doing any of this, that we are taking care not to get into eyes or genitals or any
mucous membranes.
Yes, mucous membranes, and no open wounds, none of that. But this is a beautiful one that is a vanilla chai sugar scrub. And the chai spices are those that we talked about, your cardamoms, your cinnamons, your anise, nutmeg, ginger, all that. So easy peasy. Take 5 chai tea bags. I tend to buy the organic ones, or you can make your own, mix up your own chai spices yourself with your pestle and mortar. Take 1 cup of raw turbinado sugar, which is a natural brown sugar, or you can use coconut sugar as well. And you want it nicely packed, 1 cup. a half a cup of whatever oil you like. You can use sweet almond, you can use avocado, you can use olive, you can use fractionated coconut if you'd like. You pick the oil that you want. Obviously, some oils are heavier and some oils are lighter, depending on what you're using it for. If you're using it on a dog that has really dry skin, use a heavier oil, but allow the time for it to soak into the skin. It's not instantaneous. A teaspoon of honey. I prefer raw local honey because it has the pollen in it that is obviously local to my area. So it helps with any type of allergens that I might have as well. A teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, or you can use real vanilla. You can buy the bean and scrape out the vanilla. You can also have dried vanilla as well, and add all those together in a bowl, mix them up, and then put them in a nice little like airtight ball jar that has the rubber seal. And that should stay for you. Obviously, if you're doing the tea bag, then you can use those 5 tea bags and use that spice. If you don't want to have the raw herbs in there, then just make the tea and then add some of that water to it. That's going to give it that fragrance, and it's still going to give you the healing power of those spices as well. And
so you have it in the jar, right?
Right.
So how do you use it?
So you're going to take that, and then you're going to take it and rub it over if you're going to use it for yourself, rub it on yourself.
Like just scoop it out
with your hands. You know, I like to get messy. So scoop it out with your hands, scrub it into your skin. You do not have to like scrub hard. It is a natural exfoliant. The sugar will break down with your wet, warm skin and will release all the moisturizing in that raw sugar, as well as the honey itself. And if you're using it on a pet, same thing. You just want to kind of massage that in, rub it in. Again, no mucous membranes. Be careful. If they eat it, they're not going to die. It is food-based things. So, but you don't want them licking the jar and eating a jar of it. But same thing. And then you can rinse all the way through. Once you're done, you've massaged it all in, rinse them through. If they feel too oily, you can go through with a very light shampoo and just kind of remove that excess oil from there, and then a nice cool rinse. You can take those chai tea bags as well. One of my favorite is the Bengal Celestial Seasonings makes a Bengal spice, and you can take those and put your dog in a standing tub of water. For bigger dogs, we will use the big Rubbermaid tubs. For small dogs, we'll use the little basins. You usually can get those at like the dollar store. And drop your tea bags in there and let them soak a little bit. They will be able to absorb all of that. Especially use caution if you have a light colored dog and you're using dark colored teas. They will absorb the color. But if you have a beautiful red dog or, dark brown, those teas will work wonderful and shine up the coat. If you have blonde, light color, buff color dogs, then you want to stick with white or like light colored teas like chamomile. And you can add some of the other ingredients like ginger that are not going to darken the coat. But the cinnamon, the anise, those are dark colored herbs as well. So, and you can make that rinse for yourself for your own hair.
Wow. That seems intense.
What is that? Spooky, scary.
All right. So we are at our hour. I know, right? Here we go.
There you go.
This is our lead out.
There you go.
That is the tea
Monster
for us for this Halloween celebration.
Yes. So happy Halloween. Happy October.
Happy October to you, leading into a lovely November.
Yes.
I just want you to know that while your first sip is pleasurable, also your last sip should be pleasurable. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you for watching.